Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, March 17th. Big changes on the way for the I-95 corridor. Temperatures will plunge later today and overnight tonight into the 20s in many parts of the I-95 corridor by tomorrow morning. This change to colder weather will not be short-lived. It looks like we will be colder than normal from tomorrow right into the early part of April in the mid-Atlantic region, and there will be some threats for snow, not only late this week, but perhaps another threat later next week during this resumption of a winter-like pattern. A strong cold front is pushing through the mid-Atlantic region this morning. Colder air will become quite noticeable by the end of the day. Winds will pick up dramatically this afternoon as temperatures begin to drop. This is the latest surface map. A warm front and a cold front right here in the mid-Atlantic region right now. Really, this reinforcing shot of colder air up over the Great Lakes region is when the temperatures will begin to drop. That pushes through by the early afternoon hours, and winds will pick up dramatically during the midday and afternoon. High temperatures will probably be reached by midday in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and then temperatures should slowly drop this afternoon, and that accelerated drop late in the day and overnight tonight, again reaching the 20s in most suburban locations by tomorrow morning. Strong, cold Arctic high pressure situated right now over the northern plains moves to the south and east over the next 48 hours or so, bringing us a much colder than normal air mass for this time of the year. Well, here's the latest radar loop. For the most part, this frontal system is coming through dry, at least in Philadelphia and the D.C. metro region. Cannot completely rule out a shower in Philly and D.C. over the next few hours, but for the most part, this is a dry, rain-free frontal passage. However, up across New York City, it is raining right now. There will be another hour or so of showers associated with the passage of this cold frontal system, and then the winds will pick up dramatically during the midday and afternoon hours. High temperatures will probably be reached by midday, with temperatures dropping during the afternoon, and that drop will accelerate early tonight, reaching the mid to upper 20s in many suburban locations, especially along the I-95 route by tomorrow morning. Well, let's take a look at a few computer forecast maps for the next few days. Again, there is a snow threat for the I-95 corridor, especially north and east of the Mason-Dixon line from late Thursday night into the day on Friday. But even in the D.C. metro region, there certainly can be some snow, and we'll focus in on that over the next few minutes. This is the forecast map from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run for this evening, Tuesday evening. By this time, the frontal system is well off the East Coast. Just a screaming northerly wind here by later today into the overnight hours. Out of the north to northwest, much colder air moving in over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. By tomorrow morning, again, temperatures will be in the 20s in many parts of the I-95 corridor. Now here's the forecast map for Wednesday evening, 24 hours later. By this time, the winds died down. Still some northerly flow of air here across the New England area and into the eastern part of the Mid-Atlantic region, but basically just cold air now pretty well established here. This is, again, Wednesday evening forecast map. All of these from tropicaltidbits.com. Let's now jump ahead another 24 hours. Now here's the forecast map for Thursday evening. This is when things start to get pretty interesting here. Again, this is using the Zero-Z GFS model run. By this time, another high-pressure area kind of reestablishes itself over the northeastern part of the country. That's a very key player here for the potential for snow late Thursday night and Friday. Meanwhile, notice here in green, all this is rain at this time, moisture advancing to the north and east right into this cold air mass. Again, this is Thursday evening forecast map. Let's now jump ahead to Friday morning. Well, here we go. By Friday morning, the GFS has a strong high pressure area situated over the New England area, 1030 millibar high. Precipitation breaking out here across D.C. in the form of snow, according to the GFS model. Blues here represent snow. This is, again, early Friday morning precipitation right on the doorstep of Philadelphia by this time. Meanwhile, farther to the south, there's some isobars starting to tighten up down here as low pressure starts to organize near the Carolina coastline. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours. And here we go. By Friday evening, indeed, low pressure situated just off the Outer Banks here, off the eastern part of North Carolina. Snow falling, according to the GFS model, in New York City, Philadelphia, all the way down to perhaps the northern suburbs of D.C. by this time. Indeed, snow is still a threat for the I-95 corridor for late Thursday night and Friday from this developing low-pressure area. Meanwhile, the high-pressure system does pull off the coast, and that's one of the key features that we'll monitor over the next few days. Colder air pulling off the coast this time of the year obviously decreased the odds for snow in the I-95 corridor. Nonetheless, there will be some cold air established before this moisture arrives. Now, this time of the year especially, elevation can play an important role. Certainly, higher elevation areas in, like for example, northeastern Pennsylvania have a much better chance of accumulating snow than the big cities themselves. It's quite hard to get all snow this time of the year, pretty much any time of the year, in the big cities, but certainly in the suburbs. Accumulating snow is even on the table here for this late Thursday night, Friday event, especially north and east of the Mason-Dixon line. But again, interior locations, higher elevation locations are the favorites for accumulating snow at the end of this week, and we'll continue to monitor this over the next few days. But big changes on the way. A colder than normal weather pattern begins late today and tonight and lasts, looks like, right into the early part of April, and it looks like there can be multiple snow threats in at least portions of the I-95 corridor during this next 2 or 3 week colder than normal time period. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.